So good day to all of you. Thank you for accepting the invitation to participate in this research entitled Blended Teaching Modalities in Mathematics, a Phenomenological Study. I'm Ed Bautista. I work as a freelance researcher for the last 3 years. I will be facilitating the focus group discussion. And before we begin, let me start first with the rules and regulations of our engagement. Number one, there is no right or wrong answer, so feel free to talk as much as you want. Second, if someone is talking or answering, please do not make any interruption. Let the person finish before you speak or add something. Number three, you only unmute your audio if it's your turn or if you have something to add or clarify. Fourth, if you have questions or clarifications, you can use the chat box or hand gesture symbol in our platform for you to be recognized. And lastly, this meeting is recorded, so please observe politeness in answering or asking questions. Before proceeding to the questions, you're all requested to introduce yourselves briefly. State your name, institution working for, and other important details that you would like to share. Let's start first with Sir Christian, followed by Sir Robert, then Ma'am Gretchen, Ma'am Amelita, Ma'am Christine, and Ma'am Jello. The same sequence will also be followed in answering the questions. So let us start with Sir Christian.
Thank you so much, sir. So hello, good morning, everyone. I am Christian L. Salazar. I work at the Department of Education for 2 years and 7 months. I've been working as secondary school teacher 3 at Tandag National Science High School.
Okay, let us now proceed with Sir Robert.
Hello, good morning, everyone. I am Robert Iwarisa Jr., and I am currently working at Surigao del Sur State University, and I've been teaching for almost 4 years. Thank you.
Thank you for that, sir. What about Ma'am Gretchen?
Hello, good morning, everyone. I am Gretchen C. Saan from Novili National High School. I've been teaching for almost 3 years in the same institution. Thank you.
Thank you for that, ma'am. Let's have Ma'am Amelita this time.
Okay, good morning, teachers. I am Miss Amelita Entofas. I'm currently teaching at Mabuhay National High School, Division of Agusan del Sur for almost 3 years and 7 months.
Thank you for that, ma'am. Let us have Ma'am Christine this time.
Hello, good morning. I am Christine Rose P. Montenegro. I am currently teaching at the Central P. Alpha National High School in the Department of Education, Tandag City Division. I've been teaching for 1 year and 7 months. Thank you.
Thank you for that, ma'am. Let us have Ma'am Jello for the last introduction.
Morning, everyone. I'm Nawal. Currently connected at Tagum City National Comprehensive High School, Tagum City Division. I'm teaching almost 3 years. Thank you.
Thank you for introducing yourselves, ma'ams and sirs. So let us now proceed to the first question. So the first question for our engagement is, what are your blended teaching approaches and how do you implement them in your mathematics classes? So again, I'd like to repeat the question. What are your blended teaching approaches and how do you implement them in your mathematics classes? So I'm going to start with Sir Christian.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. So in our school, we adopted this modular distance learning modality in which we have two classifications, the printed and the digital. So in order for us to supplement the modules that we are distributing to our students, we are also having this virtual classes once a week to meet with our students. We distribute the module every first day of the week and at the same time, the retrieval of the answers or the outputs of the students. Moreover, in our virtual classes, we have set schedules so that each subject will be given the chance to meet with our students, and we also made sure that we follow the guidelines provided by the Department of Education into the number of hours that will be spent every day by the students in using the gadgets with respect to their age.
Thank you for that, sir. Very well said. Let us now proceed with Sir Robert. Sir, how do you implement or what are your blended teaching approaches and how do you implement them?
Thank you, sir. So since we are now in the new normal, so in my case, I use virtual classroom for my class session and e-learning modules. For the implementation of these two modes of teaching, For virtual classroom, I set a date where we met at least once a week using Zoom or Google Meet for our discussion. For e-learning module, I made my own module. Then I created a Google Classroom where I can attach and send there the learning materials with due date or time frame for the submission of their output.
Thank you for that, Sir Robert. What about Ma'am Gretchen? Ma'am, what can you share about the first question?
Okay, in our school, we are using digital online and modular printed, same with Sir Christian. We are implementing those learning modalities by using synchronous and asynchronous class. For the synchronous class, we use Zoom Meet as our digital platform. And also, we have our group chat wherein students in our class will be able to discuss or will be able to meet there. And also for the printed modular, parents will go to school to pick up those modules, and at the same time, they will pick up those during their schedule. So those are the implementation guide.
Thank you for that, ma'am. Let us now proceed to Ma'am Amelita. Ma'am Amelita, what can you share about this?
Okay, sir. So before the class for the school year 2020-2021 started, the pair learner part of this form indicates the preferred modality they want for their students and schedule. Upon evaluating and analyzing the overall result out from the survey, they choose the printed and online class using Google Meet or Zoom. Depends on the availability, was chosen most of the parents. For the distribution of module, we scheduled every Monday with specific time for every grade level. For day, the same time again. For my online class is every Wednesday morning. I also created group chat in my subjects in order for me to have an easy access to connect with my students, most especially in their queries. That would be all, sir.
Thank you, Ma'am Amelita. Let's have Ma'am Christine this time.
So in our school, we also adapted two learning modalities. So the modular distance learning in a form of printed and digital, and an online class. So the printed modular distance learning is done by giving the self-learning activity sheets personally made by the teachers in our division, while the digital modules are given to the students through social media platform like Facebook Messenger and Google Classroom. So the implementation of an online class has its schedule once a week. No? So, and then for the implementation of the online class, so we have the weekly meet up through the Google Meet, no? So that we can personally explain the lessons delivered in the self-learning activity sheets. So the online class is not compulsory in my class. So this is only for those students who have an access with the internet and also with the gadget. So that's all, sir.
Thank you for that, ma'am. And let's have the last to share, Ma'am Jello. The same question, blended approaches and implementation.
Yes, sir. Our school used a combination of online, printed, and digital instruction. For modular approach, our school sets rule for releasing and for online classes, we use Zoom and Google Meet. And teachers also benefit from different platforms as sources of learning materials, videos, and the adjustment takes time, and it's of 1 to 2 quarters for us, including the students, to adapt in this kind of approach.
Thank you for that, ma'am. Thank you for that, teachers. Wonderful answers from the first question. Before I proceed to the next question, I'd like to ask if there are any clarifications or additional input. So if there's none, so I'd like to proceed to the next question. So the next question is, what are your preparations to adjust to the blended learning approach? Again, what are your preparations to adjust to the blended learning approach? Let's start again with Sir Christian.
Okay, so thank you so much, sir. So when I know that the learning will continue amidst pandemic, I have attended series of trainings so which was organized by our school and our divisions, which is Tandag City Division, on the digital literacy. So I've attended as to what are the software tools which are useful in this new normal. And I also have attended a training on the radio-based instruction, which is one of the modalities that is being implemented in this new setup of education. Aside from that, I also have joined training workshops on crafting on the self-learning activity sheets, which is the supplement to the modules provided by the central office. Sorry.
Thank you for that, sir. Let us now proceed with Sir Robert. Sir, how do you prepare to adjust to the blended learning approach?
For me, in preparing myself to adjust to the blended learning approach, so first thing I did is to be familiar with the multiple types of instructional materials. Second is to try other techniques in incorporating technology for reinforcement for my discussion and try mix up groups work styles.
Okay, thank you for that, sir. What about Ma'am Gretchen? How do you prepare, or how did you prepare, ma'am, in this blended approach?
Okay, so there's a lot of preparations that we made, and one of those is same with Sir Christian, the distance learning modality training. So in that training, we were able to understand what are those learning modalities that we are going to uh, we are going to provide for this time of pandemic. So that is why our school, in our learning continuity plan, we are able to identify those two blended modalities, which is the digital online and of course the modular printed, which is the most preferred modular modalities in our school. And also one of the preparation is that making our learning activity sheets, which is very important because those will serve as our uh, materials for the learners. And at the same time, we also have that radio-based instruction, which supplement for the learning materials to be given to the students. So those are the preparations. We have this making of PowerPoint presentation that will be used during the synchronous class. That's all, sir.
Thank you for that, ma'am. Let us now proceed with Ma'am Lolita's answer.
Okay, thank you, sir. In my preparation, the same with Ma'am Gretchen and Sir Christian, and in the whole system of Department of Education, in order to address this problem about the pandemic in the new normal system of education, I attended several webinars, such as the learning modality, delivery modalities, in order for us to understand what is all about, and what are the possible advantages and disadvantages and the possible problems that may encountered. Second is the seminar about the radio-based instruction and television-based instruction, in which we are really they taught us how to make craft, and as well as the scripts and the video presentation about it and how to use it during the learning process. And the third one is the crafting of division-wide self-learning modules, aside from the central office given, and the learning activity sheets that was localized and contextualized in order for the students to understand better and easier the topic. And the last one is the crafting of video presentation and KMs that would help us most especially in our online classes.
Thank you for that, Ma'am Amelita. So let us now proceed with Ma'am Christine's answer for the question, preparations to adjust to the blended learning approach.
So hello again. I actually have the same preparations with them. So since we are using two different modalities, so as to the modular, before the start of the school year, we created self-learning activity sheets as supplementary to the given modules of the central office. And as to the online classes, to prepare this, I also attended different seminars and trainings from the EdTech unit and the ICT for the um, acquire knowledge in different softwares and applications to be used in online classes.
Thank you for that, ma'am. And let us now have Ma'am Jello for her answer on the preparations to adjust to the blended learning approach.
same with the other participants, in order to prepare teachers to this blended learning approach, our division and our school initiate some training and workshops to engage teachers in different digital platforms, like including video and picture editing that can be used in making our own teaching materials.
Thank you for that, ma'am. So basically, in the first two set of questions, majority of the teachers have attended seminars, trainings, employed multiple modalities, and developed teaching materials. Thank you for your thank you for the informations that you have shared, ma'ams and sirs. So before I proceed to the next question, are there any clarifications or additional inputs? So if there's none, I'd like to proceed to the next question. So what do you think are the benefits of using blended approach in teaching? So again, what do you think are the benefits of using blended approach in teaching? So I'd like to start again with Sir Christian. Sir?
Okay, thank you so much, sir. So, I see that the blended teaching modality are teaching approaches as more of beneficial rather than of a disadvantage. So, I guess one of the benefit of having this blended teaching approach is that it developed the sense of independence to the students. And we teachers, we are actually living to our role, which is a guide on the side and not a sage on the stage. Another thing is that benefit that I think is also it sharpened the teacher skills in terms of using technology. Even those older generations, they tend to adopt to the new normal, and I guess that's a good benefit because this new normal is narrowing the gap between the older and the new generations. And lastly, I think that blended teaching is helping us to develop the 21st century skills of our students, which is the primary goal of this K to 12 curriculum.
Thank you for that, sir. Let us have Sir Robert for his answer on the benefits of using blended approach in teaching.
Using blended learning makes education more accessible. So it is in addition to Sir Christian, now with the advancement of new technology, so our students have more flexibility to access and engage in their academics from home. Another benefit using this kind of approach is our students can engage our materials at their own pace, and it can reduce stress and increase student satisfaction.
Thank you for that, sir. What about Ma'am Gretchen? Ma'am, what do you think are the benefits of using blended approach in teaching?
Okay, there is a lot of benefits of using blended teaching approach, and one of those is that students can easily take advantage on the on-the-go learning activities or exercises. They can easily access to the digital platform or learning platform that also allows them to receive their instant feedback. That's all, sir.
Thank you for that, ma'am. What about Ma'am Amelita? The same question, ma'am. Your or the
Okay,
benefits
sir.
that you have encountered in using blended approach in teaching.
Okay, sir. As per experience, despite of this pandemic, it creates students, teachers, and parents good relationship, most especially in for example in the for example in the parents and students, the parents serve as their teacher, so they have good quality time. Second is blended learning gives students space for themselves to be more independent to answer the task provided for them. It also makes education more accessible for them. Most especially, there are different learning resource portals provided by the Department of Education. This method also made us more uh, fun in learning through video presentation and the KMs. It also trained us teachers to be more flexible as well as the students, most especially in their learning mechanisms.
Thank you for that, ma'am. What about Ma'am Christine? What do you think are the benefits,
So
ma'am,
for
of
me, sir,
using blended?
yes, sir. So for me, it is really beneficial to both math teachers and to the students, no? So for the teachers, we have a flexible time, so we can save our time and use it in our other works. And for the learners or students, it is also beneficial for them because they can build their own independency. So they can track their own progress by checking their answers on the given or the provided key answers in our modules. So that's all, sir.
Thank you for that, ma'am. Let us have Ma'am Jello. The same question.
One, yes, sir. One of the is flexibility. Offers flexibility for teachers and how to send students to their class. I also agree with Mr. Robert that blended learning gives access in education because even we live far from the school, we can still attend our class with less expense. That's all, sir.
Thank you for that, ma'am. Thank you for answering this question, teachers. So before I proceed to the next question, I'd like to ask if there are additional inputs or clarifications. So if there's none, so I'd like to proceed now to the next question. So the next question is, what are the difficulties you have encountered and how did you address these difficulties in using blended teaching modalities? Again, what are the difficulties you encountered and how did you address these difficulties in using blended teaching modalities? Again, I'd like to start with Sir Christian.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. So I know we are all aware that everything has its own advantage and disadvantage. But for me, the problems that I have encountered in having this blended teaching modality is that first, not all students can join the virtual classes that we are having. So let's accept the fact that not all students have the luxury of having an internet connection or a gadget to be used in joining the virtual classes. So what I did was I made a recording of the virtual classes that we are having for those who have gadgets and wasn't able to join the virtual classes. They will be able to review and still able to learn with or to join with our discussion. Aside from that, our school also have made partnerships with the private organizations, and we have provided tablets to those students who don't have gadgets. That is only for our junior high school department. So second problem that I have encountered is that it is hard to retrieve the modules of the students since we are having this flexible learning. So students will learn in their own pace. But we also did home visitation to students who were not able to submit their outputs on first and second quarter. We have provided them the compressed activity sheets for them to be able to cope up with their missing outputs. But in doing home visitations, we secured a letter of permission that is addressed to the barangay captain, and of course, we follow the IATF health protocols. And lastly, the problem that I really have encountered is that not all students or all students are having a hard time understanding the lesson, especially that they are working without the presence of their teachers on their side. And we all know that even though we are having the traditional face-to-face, students really find mathematics as a subject that is hard to understand. So what I did in order to overcome that problem was I made my own video which is localized and contextualized in order for them to be able to supplement the in order for to supplement the learning material that we have given to them. And aside from that, I also have sent links to the videos in YouTube, which also helps them to understand, which is in line with the most essential learning competencies of the Department of Education.
Very well said. Thank you for that, sir. What about Sir Robert?
Okay, thank you, sir. So in my experience, so the problems that I encountered in using blended teaching modalities are delayed of submission of output due to poor internet connectivity and less students' participation. So to address those problems, for the first issue, I extend and give ample time for the students to answer and only limit in giving worksheets, assessments, and assignments to be answered. For the second one, so during a virtual meeting, I give motivational activities to boost their confidence and also to I give also interactive games, and I also send localized videos in our Google Classrooms.
Thank you for that, sir. What about Ma'am Gretchen? Ma'am, how did you or what are the difficulties you encountered and how were you able to address those difficulties?
Okay, thank you, sir. Well, teaching math in this platform is very challenging, especially when students don't have stable internet connection and at the same time for those students who are slow paced in learning. So what I did is first for those who has unstable internet connection, I provided offline videos for our lessons. So I send it to our group chat, and at the same time, there are activities that I provided, which is contextualized at the same time, so that those slow-paced will be able to understand what are the things, or what are those problems that they need to understand for them to be able to understand clearly. So that's the reason why I contextualize learning materials. And also, since we have group chat, so we students are free to ask questions there and ask clarifications, and I entertain them, since the social media platform is very convenient for most of my students. So that's why I use those platform. And also for those students that kind of those who are in remote area, I personally contacted their parents as their tutors. So that's all my experience, sir.
Thank you for that, ma'am. Let us have Ma'am Amelita.
Okay, sir. The problems that I have encountered during this new normal education are the following. First is the building of students' authenticity of their answers, because sometimes I observed they only copied the answers in the answer key at the back of the module and didn't even dare to solve some problems. Second, stability of internet connectivity. And the third one is retrieval of modules in scheduled time. So, but with the help of the technical assistance of from our immediate supervisor, which is our PSDI, and the our school head, the school created a scheduled time for each one of us for our remedial class for those students who have difficulty in our subjects, as well as the home visitation in coordination with the general PTA officers and the Barangay Education Committee Kagawad in charge. And after checking the modules and summative tests, we listed students' individual learning monitoring plan in which we wrote there the competency they got, lesser understanding, as well as the possible solution to this problem, like giving supplemental videos, activity sheets, and per tutoring as well. We also uploaded in our GC as well, and the Google Classroom the activities that for those students who logged in our discussion.
Thank you for that, ma'am. What about Ma'am Christine?
Well, in the part of the students, they really need guidance in understanding the concept of mathematics. No, so we all know that mathematics is really a hard and challenging subject, especially in this time of pandemic, because some mathematical concepts are hard to understand, especially by the students. So what I did is, although we have an online class, we still encounter unstable internet connection, which is one of the most challenging part for us teachers. No, to address this main difficulty I encounter, I give supplementary resources to the students. So for the online class, I send links to our GC for them to check the videos. And for the modular class, so I attach printed supplementary resources for them to read and understand the concept. And the parents will ask me personally what are the unclear instructions. Then I just explain them, and then they will deliver it also to their children. So that's all, sir.
Thank you for that, ma'am. What about Ma'am Jello? What can you share about this, ma'am?
As a teacher, we also have to considerate on the need of the learners who cannot attend regularly to our online classes, and the students just rely on their module. To address these difficulties, after the online session, I record myself again doing the explanation of the example that I give from the online class and send it to the class chats, group chats. Sometimes, as permitted by all my online students, the whole recorded online class file will be sent to their group chats as their references.
Okay, thank you for your answers, teachers. So basically, in this set of questions, we can deduce that no matter what kind of approach are we going to use, there's always a positive or advantage and disadvantages. So thank you for that, ma'ams and sirs. So before I proceed to the next set of questions, I'd like to ask if there are any clarifications or additional inputs. So if there's none, I'd like to proceed now to the last two questions. So let us have the assessment tools. So what are the assessment tools you used in teaching mathematics in the blended approach? So again, what are the assessment tools you used in the blended teaching approach in mathematics? I'd like to start again with Sir Christian.
Okay, so thank you so much, sir. So I already have shared a while ago that we are only having the modular distance modality, which is the modular print and the modular digital. So I only have two assessment tool, which is one for the digital learners or those who can access the internet. They were given the link for the Google Forms. That is where they are going to be assessed for faster feedback and faster checking. And then for those who were given printed, for those who opted for printed module, I have given also them the copy or the hard copy of the questions, which is the same with those given on with the same with the questions given to the printed the digital learners. And then I guess that's it, sir.
Thank you for that, sir. What about Sir Robert? What are
Okay,
your
as for
assessment tools, sir?
okay, sir. Thank you, sir. As for the assessment tool, so I use few technology tools and apps that can be ideal for a blended environment. So it includes the Google Sites, the quizzes, and Google Forms. I also give worksheets or activity sheets posted in our Google Classroom.
Thank you for that, sir. What about Ma'am Gretchen?
Okay. In our school, we are using DepEd Order number 31 series of 2020 as our basis of grading system. This is the interim guidelines of assessment and grading in the light of basic education in the learning continuity plan. So for core subjects, students will be assessed through their written works. So that is 50% of their grades. So what is that? That includes their quizzes and summative tests. And also, they have this 50% for their student performance task. So performance task involves or has this students participations, which has this attendance and also the performance task activities. So those are the guidelines that we are using both online and modular printed.
Thank you for that, ma'am. What about Mama Milita?
Okay, sir. In our school, we use the 15-item summative test and we distributed it every after second week, the same schedule, Monday. And after 1 week, the parents would submit the said summative test at the school. And for those students who cannot go to school, so I uploaded in our Google Classroom the same questionnaires.
Thank you for that, ma'am. How about Ma'am Christine?
So in my case, sir, for the printed modular, I give them the printed copy of our summative test and performance task. And for the digital modular classes, I give the assessment using the Google form and then send the link to our GC.
Thank you for that, ma'am. As per Ma'am Jello, what can you say about this, ma'am?
Uh, for me, sir, I'm still using formative and summative assessment tools in blended teaching approach, like portfolio making, creating video while answering math problems, and the like. I provide some assessment tool for both students who can and cannot attend their online classes, but I'm always making it sure that the students are not bombarded with lots of assessment activities, sir.
Thank you for your answers, teachers. Now we are down to the last question, but before I proceed, I'd like to ask if there are any clarifications or additional inputs. So if there's none, I'd like to proceed now to the last question of our discussion. How do you assist or help students with learning difficulties? Again, how do you assist or help students with learning difficulties? Let's start again with Sir Christian.
Okay, so in our case, sirs, those who have difficulties in learning, what I did was that I said a while ago, I made a video of myself, which is contextualized and localized. Second, we made a home visitation in which we have given them a compressed outputs. And then lastly, we also have provided them the links for the supplementary videos, which can be found on YouTube, provided with that they are in line with the most essential learning competencies provided by the Department of Education.
Thank you, sir. What about Sir Robert?
So far, in my experience, so most of my students have difficulty in familiarizing the steps. So since we are using virtual meeting for our discussion, so to assess that, I break down instruction into smaller, manageable tasks. Then I break down the steps into a few smaller steps to ensure my students they understand what I am asking. Then I did not give further instruction until my students have completed the previous task.
Thank you for that, sir. What about Ma'am Gretchen? How do you do this with your classes, ma'am?
Okay, in my case, I attended students with special need or in learning deficiencies by providing students remedial classes and also providing them contextualized learning activity sheets that will be able for them to be able to understand more the the topics that we've been discussing. And also, I am attending students' queries through online, and that is through our social media group messenger. And also, if possible, we do have this home visitation, especially those students who are in remote areas. But same with Sir Christian, we see to it that we abided the protocols uh, set by the government.
Thank you for that, ma'am. As per Ma'am Amelita, how do you assist your students, ma'am?
Okay, sir, in order to assess my students with learning difficulties, so I do home visitation, the same with Ma'am Gretchen and other teachers. Second is the remedial class. Every after our online class, I allotted 1 hour for those queries and any follow-up questions with regards to our subjects. And second one, I also make sure that every 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. every day to made available of my cell phone number for their queries as well as in our group chats. And I also assigned and asked permission to their parents to have a pair tutoring for those students who have really problems on the difficulties in the subject.
Thank you for that, ma'am. What about Ma'am Christine?
So upon seeing the result of the summative test of the students, I can identify who among them are having learning difficulties and to which specific competencies. To help them, I extend my time to give online remedial class to the specific students. And for those who cannot join the online, I give additional references and more examples for them to understand the competency they need to improve. So in that way, I can still assist them despite of our distances.
Thank you for that, ma'am. What about Ma'am Jello? What can you share about this, ma'am?
We all know that mathematics needs to be analyzed in order for us to understand the concept. It is not new for us that mathematics lessons are difficult, especially now that we are in new normal education. There are some of my students who message me and ask help because they don't understand the process written in their module. So as respond, I prepared different examples, but similar to the concept given in their module. I record myself videos explaining the process. And we also have what we call the toughest of the week. These were the topics identified by learners as the most difficult to understand in their weekly math module. To assist them, we have our scheduled weekly online consultation where the students can ask questions and discuss with their classmates.
Thank you for that, ma'am. Thank you for your answers, teachers. Are there any additional inputs or are there any clarifications to the answers or reaction to the answers? So if there's none, so that concludes our focus group discussion. Thank you everyone for providing a comprehensive answer on the research questions. The information you provided is a great help to unravel the facts that this study is trying to explore. You will be notified once the full transcript of this FGD is complete for you to verify the accuracy of the information you have shared. Once again, thank you and God bless you all.